Good evening, everybody. Let's get some more people in the chat room first before we get started. What's up? Wednesday night hump day in Atlanta. And tonight we're going to discuss black soldiers have always been disposable in the U.S. military. How the U.S. military needs to stay out of Africa and fake patriotism or faux patriotism so we can sexify it. What's good, Adam? I see you. You're first. Adam James is first to the live stream. Emmanuel, what's up, family? Where are you from, Emmanuel? Alujumu. Got to be Nigerian. Am I right? Yoruba? Huh? But yeah, but there's a big. So Donald Trump, Nigeria, I knew it. So there's a issue. There was an issue I read about this morning. Don't know if you guys know, but several, well, four to be specific, U.S. soldiers were killed, ambushed in Niger last week, a couple weeks ago. Four were killed, and one of them were a brother named Sergeant David Johnson from Florida. I see you with the lumberjack. Where's the hat to match? Oh, was that a Biggie song? Is that a Notorious Big song? Yeah, I got on my flannel or whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, I got it on tonight. It's kind of cool out here in Atlanta, man. It was hot as hell yesterday. But yeah, so four soldiers were killed in Niger over last week, I believe. One was Sergeant David Johnson. And so Donald Trump called his family, I believe it was yesterday. And in that exchange with the family, number one, he didn't even mention the soldier's name. He didn't know the soldier's name. Number two, he told the widow of the soldier that pretty much your husband knew what he was getting himself into, which is disrespectful and callous as fuck. But I'm not surprised by Donald Trump's reaction. I wonder how the conversation went with the white soldiers. Now, people might say, Dinas, why are you bringing race into this? Well, we need to look at the history of how America has treated, and it's been well documented, on how America has treated its black soldiers. And pretty much not to get into it in detail, but I'll sum it up. For the most part, black soldiers have been fighting for American freedom since the American Revolution. Since freaking Crispus Attucks. What's his name? Crispus Attucks. The red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. Have been fighting for American freedom, but then themselves, because they're black, have not experienced that American freedom. It's to the point where in World War II and the Korean War, the U.S. military was using black soldiers as guinea pigs and running all types of experiments on them. In fact, let me post the link in the chat room. You know, I mean, you have the Tuskegee selfless experiment. You have that. Secret World War II chemical experiments tested troops by race. I'll put this in the chat room. Pentagon admits 60,000 black soldiers used in human experiments as guinea pigs. Let me read this article. Here we go. I'm gonna read this article. This is by NPR, secret World War II chemical experiments tested troops by race. As a young U.S. Army soldier during World War II, Roland Edwards knew better than to refuse an assignment. When officers led him and a dozen others into a wooden gas chamber and locked the door, he didn't complain. None of them did. Then a mixture of mustard gas and a similar agent called Lewisite was piped inside. It felt like you were on fire, recalls Edwards, now 93 years old. Guys started screaming and hollering and trying to break out. And then some of the guys fainted. And finally, they opened the door and let us out. And the guys they were in bad shape. Edwards was one of the 60,000 enlisted men enrolled in a secret government program, formerly declassified in 1993, to test mustard gas and other chemical agents on American troops. But there was a specific reason he was chosen. Edwards is African American. They said we were tested to see what the effect these gases would have on black skins. I'm gonna eat it right there. I'm gonna end it right there. Let me read this again. They said we were being tested to see what effect these gases would have on black skins. Let me post this in the chat room. So this controversy in regards to what Donald Trump said to Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, it's just further proof that black soldiers have always been disposable. Again, you had the segregated military squads in Vietnam, segregated military squads in World War II, segregated military squads in the Korean War. You had the U.S. military running all types of chemical and science experiments on black soldiers. But then we will go out and fight for the freedom as an American. But once we came back from war, we did not experience that freedom that we fought for. So many soldiers came back home after World War II, after the Korean War, to segregation, to Jim Crow, being spat on, being disrespected. Same thing with Vietnam. I mean, if you look at the condition of many of our, especially our black soldiers that fought in Vietnam. I mean, you see these brothers on the street corners begging. You know, they were hooked on drugs, addicted to drugs. I mean, what they experienced, and even their stories, even in Vietnam, where Vietnam soldiers would say, "So, brothers, why are you fighting for America? Well, when you go home, you're going to be disrespected and probably treated worse in America than we would treat you as prisoners of war." I mean, that's a fact. That's a fact. So we have black soldiers in World War II, Civil War, Vietnam, dying for a freedom that them themselves would never experience back at home in America once they came home. So they use you as guinea pigs, as cannon fodder to push their interests, which you were not a part of. You were not, as being black, you were not part of the agenda. Sell you a dream of false hope. Then you come home and you treat it like shit. Don't believe me? Look it up. So that's why I just really wanted to go in on this and just show how black soldiers have always been disposable. Which leads me to U.S. military staying out of Africa. I watched the article. I mean, not an article. I watched a news clip from Niger today. Right, Tech Newman. They believed in the future dream of being accepted one day. And a lot of them didn't experience that future dream of being accepted one day. Or damn, they had to wait to close to their deathbed. 80s and 90s. 90 years old, finally to be recognized or experience that somewhat of uh, to experience somewhat of a sense of freedom. So I was watching a news clip from Niger. This is a country in Africa where these soldiers died. And in the news clip, they're like, yeah, AFRICOM is set up here. I guess there's a drone base set up in Niger. I guess they're training the Niger soldiers to fight, these radical Islamic, the radical Islamic insurgents, ISIS or whatnot. But then she said something that really caught my attention. She said, even after all this, we still have no clue why America's here. Like, no one really knows the true agenda of why America is in Africa with Africa, and what Africans can really gain by, American soldiers training African soldiers. Because you got to think about it. When's the last time America's actually won a war? With all the technology, drones and whatnot, when's the last time we've actually won a war? Pretty much lost Korean War. We lost Vietnam. I mean, hell, we lost the Afghan War. If you really look at the bigger picture, I mean, we drove out the communists, but we still see what's going on today. Iraq is an absolute shithole. Same thing with Libya. These proxy wars. So the question becomes, if we haven't won a war since World War II, what expertise are African soldiers really learning? And then would America put, I guess, the African military in a position to be able to defeat the American military? Do you really think America is going to give, these African militaries the technology to, right, we didn't win Desert Storm. Do you really think America is going to give Africa militaries the technology to further down the line pose a threat? And the reason why I say that, let's start with Afghanistan. Let's start with Al-Qaeda and your boy Osama bin Laden. So when Russia invaded Afghanistan, America supported, which is now Al-Qaeda, gave them the weapons. The Afghans were successful. And then what happened, for the most part, we overextended our stay, and the Afghans said, look, okay, America, appreciate you supporting us, but you guys need to go home. We refused to go home, and then what happened? They pretty much used those weapons against us, and we're in the situation we're in now. Same thing with ISIS. So from learning that, I seriously doubt that America is going to give any type of African military the resources to one day, if African militaries decide, like, look, America, you guys have overextended your stay. Y'all need to go home. And then they turn around and use these weapons against them. So, I mean, they're going to give you the basic training shit that you could probably learn on damn YouTube, because everything's on YouTube. So, African militaries, I'm pretty sure the same training you're getting right now, or reconnaissance or whatnot, you could probably learn on YouTube. Because this fight of terror, whatever, against terror, whether it be Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, now ISIS, the Islamic insurgents in Mali, in all honesty, we're really not winning with Western support. And then another thing you have to look at, so they're in Niger fighting ISIS. Who started ISIS? How did ISIS come about? ISIS is nothing more of an effect of American imperialism. That's all it is. Again, I mean, they were like, look, America, go home. Stay out of our business, and we'll leave you alone. America refused, and then here comes ISIS. And, one thing they don't like to talk about, especially, we drop a bomb and kill innocent women and children in these countries. And all you're doing is pissing people off and creating more ISIS fighters. And now Africa's involved. The best thing for Africa to do is to push the U.S. military out. And I guarantee you there will be less issues in regards to radical Islamic terror. Guarantee you. Especially like in places like Kenya, as long as you're loyal to America, Al-Shabaab's going to see you as the enemy. But if you tell America, like, look, we got this, we're big boys and girls, and some people are going to disagree with what I have to say, go and negotiate with Al-Shabaab, it'll be over. Just like that. Guaranteed. And then, especially Black people who want to travel to Africa, they study us to always know how to defeat us. I mean, Shaka Zulu. Today in military training, they use the same strategy, or they teach the same strategies that Shaka Zulu used. And my glasses crooked as hell. Don't forget it. These are my good faithful glasses, man. I done had these for a while now, but it's about time to get rid of them. They're all crooked, but I love them. So they use Shaka Zulu's his strategy. They teach it in the U.S. military. So Africans have to understand you have military strategy right there that you can learn from other Africans. Right there. At Global Africa, I'm going to get into that. It's a volunteer force. I'm going to get into that. Especially when it comes to Black soldiers. The reason why a lot of Black people, and I really don't agree with Black people joining the military. And I gave my reasons why at the beginning. Because for the majority of years in regards to the military's existence, Black soldiers who fought for the U.S. came home and were treated like shit and did not experience that freedom that they were fighting for. But the reason why a lot of Black people join the military today is because of lack of opportunity. The majority of Black people I know in the military, they're there because they graduated from high school, and the best thing for them to do so they won't get in trouble at home was to join the military. I mean, they get paid, they get to travel the world, get the school paid for, great benefits. Why not? And I agree. Why not? It's just, I think when it comes to putting your life on the line for a system that doesn't have your best interest at heart, that's the issue. If you want to travel around the world, if you want to go to Korea, hook up with Korean chicks on the U.S. military's dime, hey, go for it. But if I want to go to Afghanistan and I'm gonna go find al-Baghdadi or whatever his name is, the ISIS leader, I'm gonna go to the caves and find him. You're just taking it a little too far. Especially when, you want to go choke out al-Baghdadi, whatever his name is, or Osama bin Laden. You want to go find him and choke him out when the majority of these people are creations. Not Korean chickens, I mean Korean chicks, my bad. I just accidentally said Korean chickens. I mean Korean chicks. If you want to join the military and go hook up with Korean chicks, go to Korea. That's where all my boys went to join the military. They go to Korea or they go to Germany and hook up with German women or go get stationed in Hawaii. By all means, go for it on the U.S. dime. You're getting paid. Your school's being paid for go do it. But when it's time to fight, I would think twice about it. I would think twice about it. Because I get it. I mean, you're going to get the training that you need to be competitive in today's society in the military. So I get it. Learn everything you can. But damn it, when it's time to go fight, I would think twice. Because I mean, think about it. You want to go find Osama bin Laden and al-Bahadi, who are pretty much creations of the West, either directly or indirectly. You want to go choke them out in their caves. But then you turn on TV, you got Oscar Grant getting shot in a subway station, just trying to get home and see his family. You got Eric Garner getting choked to death for just selling a cigarette. You got Tamir Rice getting killed for being a kid. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan or Iraq or in Niger, the rules of engagement are more strict when you're facing ISIS than when police officers are facing Black people here in America. Don't believe me? Ask somebody in the military. You got to get clearance to pretty much do anything. Meanwhile, here in America, the kids walking with a toy gun, a police officer could shoot them down in the street dead. Seriously. So it's just people who want to go to, I know I'm all over the place, but just follow me. Black people who want to return to Africa and build, I just don't want a target being placed on our backs, because now you have this brother, like David Johnson, who was a good brother, Now when, radical Islam sees the U.S. military, they'll probably place a blackface with it. Instead, for the most part, when you think of the West, you think of a white face. So a lot of Black people getting involved in the military and going to Iraq and Afghanistan and Niger. Exactly, I'm going regardless. I'm going to Africa regardless. I just don't want Black Americans now who go to these places, them having a target on their back because of brothers in the military who are over there fighting. And when they're over there fighting, they're not fighting in the best interest of the Black collective or the American collective. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. And next I want to get into this faux patriotism. So even after Donald Trump disrespected this fallen soldier, these people still cannot get over Black men kneeling in football games. So they looked over this disrespect, looked over it. But they're upset, more upset, at Black men kneeling in football games. So this fake patriotism, I mean, these people care less about the U.S. flag. It's just they feel threatened when Black men stand up and speak out. That's what it is. Has nothing to do with the U.S. flag. They care less about the U.S. flag. They want to hurry up and see kickoff anyway. They just don't want to see Black men protesting. That's all it is. Has nothing to do with the U.S. flag. It's fake patriotism. Because if you look at the reaction of these fake patriots after Donald Trump made these statements, and then look at the reactions when Roger Goodell met with several NFL players, and they're not going to, I guess, stop them from kneeling during the national anthem. And in fact, now The NFL is going to get more involved in issues that affect Black people in these communities that we're talking about and what they're protesting against or bringing awareness to. Now the NFL is going to get involved. So it actually caused the NFL to get involved. But the fake patriots, you know, they're upset over, you know, kneeling at football games, but they're giving this a pass, which is a joke. In fact, somebody said it right here. Hold on one second. Let me find this real quick. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Here we go. Somebody said this. Hold on. Where is this at? Somebody best summed it up like this. Let's see here. Somebody said it best. You know, real patriotism, I guess, by their definition. This is what he said somewhat. Real patriotism, by their definition, is being upset at athletes, Black athletes, for kneeling at football games for the national anthem, but not being upset at the president or people disrespecting fallen soldiers. That's real patriotism, per the definition of a lot of these fake patriots who are defending this. That's what it is. That's what it is. From Gariga, I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation, the super chat. And also, somebody else donated, man. I'm sorry for not shouting you out when you donated. Press 1 if you contributed to the super chat. I think it was Shakari. Shakari B, appreciate the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that today. Hopefully this made sense. But Black soldiers have always been disposable. If you look at the history of the United States military, Black soldiers have always been treated like crap. Was the brother's name Crispus Attucks? The red culture coming? Hold on. Crispus Attucks, here we go. Here we go. Crispus Attucks was the first person killed in the Boston Massacre in Boston, Massachusetts, and is widely referred to as the first American killed in the American Revolution. Aside from the event of his death, little is known for certain about Crispus Attucks. He could have been a Native American slave or a free man, or a merchant seaman, or a merchant seaman and dock worker of Wampanoag and African descent. So they're saying he's mixed with Native American and he was African. Here we go. Attucks was almost certainly a mixed African and Native American parentage. There he goes. He was mixed. So by American standards, he'll be considered Black. Yeah, so this was an ex-slave, or still a slave, who said this. And even after that, even after he warned the people that the British were coming or the Redcoats were coming, Black people were still in slavery for like another 90 years after that. And then went through Jim Crow and the Reconstruction era after that. And we're still fighting for this country. So yeah, Black soldiers have always been disposable to the United States of America. That's why I'll never fight in the military. And for the most part, I respect my brothers and sisters who join the military. But I don't understand why you guys even fight. Again, if you look at it as a job, as an opportunity to develop your skills, get free schooling, pay for your college, I get it. But as far as actually seeing battle time, I don't understand. But, to each his own. To each his own. All right, you guys, I just wanted to come with that tonight. It's almost 10 o'clock out here. I'll be back on Saturday morning. So make sure you guys come back for that. Let's see if you got any questions in the chat room. Any comments? Here we go. Doug, I live in one of the largest military areas of the USA, and the VA hospital is filled with Black veterans all messed up from PTSD and addictions. It's like that. It's same thing in Atlanta. It's exactly like that here in Atlanta. Same situation. I see it here in Atlanta. You should see it in LA. You know. So yeah, but again, it's a lot of times the reason why they join 99.9% of the time is because there's just lack of opportunity. And see, the military is the best option to get out of the house, you know, and get out of the hood. That's why if you notice, a lot of these military recruiting centers are in the hood. That's why they put them there. They're in the hood for a reason. A lot of these military recruiting centers. So yeah, so from, you know, being cannon fodder, using science experiments to see how chemicals work on black skin, fighting in for the military, but coming home and still facing Jim Crow and racism. Black soldiers have always been disposable. That's why I am not surprised by Donald Trump's comments. Because Donald is open with it. He's very open with it. He's not ashamed. He doesn't hold back as far as with his racism. So yeah. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. Search for Huru on Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you go to DynasTyMir.com. Make sure you go to Amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasty and also make sure you go to search for Huru.com. So make sure you guys do all that. Make sure you follow me on social media. If this is your first time coming on, make sure you like the page, will like the video, share the video, and please make sure you subscribe. Everybody who contributed, thank you so much for the donation tonight. I really appreciate it. I probably won't be back on I might come back on tomorrow. I doubt it, but for sure Saturday. And then, you know, on Sundays, I'll definitely be on 3, 4, 5 times on Sunday. So once again, Black soldiers have always been disposable, always. That's why some people are surprised by Donald Trump's comments. I'm not. I mean, this is the same guy that called NFL players son of a bitches for not standing, mocked handicapped people. You know, he doesn't hold his racism back, man. He's just open with it. So yeah, so of course he would say something like this to a Black soldier. Because again, I mean, if you just look at the history of the military, Black soldiers are not respected. So you just always been disposable. So Dynasty Amir, the Kaftan Don, but I don't have my Kaftan on today. Till next time, peace.